This is a test of frequency instruments, bass, drums, distortion.
I miss the tube. I love the tube. But I'm not actually going anywhere where I need to get the tube. But for you, I was going to suggest wearing a mask is horrible. You can't breathe. And if you're wearing sunglasses, they steam up and everything else. Put a bandana over your nose and your mouth, but you can still breathe because it's open at the bottom. Wear latex gloves and try not to sit down because nobody is self-distancing on the tube. But it depends what time you're a key worker, so maybe if you leave earlier in the day, there won't be so many people, or if you travel after 10 o'clock. And wear latex gloves and carry some hand sanitizer with you. So when you come off the tube, you throw away the gloves, you take off your bandana, preferably have two, you wash that one that you've worn to work when you get home, then you've got a clean one to put on. Well, everybody's sending me texts at the moment.
So you're doing, they're telling you that you're on the radio, it's alright, go on.
And so what you do is you wear a clean bandana every day going to work, you wear another clean one going home, you put on a new pair of latex.
How long are you going to do that for, Jim?
No, I'm suggesting this to you, to go on the tube. Because you're nervous about going on the tube.
So do you look a black guy in London? If I put a bandana around my face, it might be a different image to you, you know that, right?
Well, but there's a lot of young black guys wearing bandanas on the bus. And I don't see anybody going up and saying anything to them. It doesn't matter what you wear, you've got to wear some sort of face.
They won't let you on with that, but Rob went on it a couple of days ago and he said that there were people with it, they were on their forehead, it was around their ears, it was under their chin, there's no one on the actual carriage enforcing it.
Well, the thing is, I mean, at Earlsfield Station, which is where I live, they've got staff members because we've got two entrances, one on White Road and one on Earlsfield Road. There is members of staff, at least two of them there, and they're not letting anybody go through the turnstile until they have a face covering. So if this was happening at every tube station, people would not be allowed to go on the tube. If you feel a bit vulnerable about wearing a bandana, then I suggest you get yourself a cloth. I mean, your wife should be able to make one. They're quite easy. To wear a plain cloth mask which will cover your nose and your mouth, but then you can line it with certain things. You go online, they will tell you.
My wife did it, be arsenic it was lined with, so I don't want her to do it.
You shouldn't say things like that about your wife because she knows she listens to your stuff. But they're very easy to do. You can go online and they give you instructions on how to do it, and then you can have a clean one every time you go. You wash them, but you can get filters which are inside the mask, and that will help you to breathe a lot better because these dentist type masks, they're no good. I did try one a few weeks ago and I literally was choking to death because the smell of it didn't smell very nice, but I just felt like I was choking. And they don't stay on. I mean, that little bit you put over your nose just slides down. It's just a waste of time. So the cloth ones are very good, and I have seen more young black youth, male, wearing masks on the bus than I've seen any other nationality. And I see a lot of them wearing them in the park as well, and walking along the street.
Well, the next time you go to the park, you need to socially and distantly say hello to somebody and have a conversation. You sit on a park bench, have a conversation. Yeah, because I don't want to lose that kind of community spirit. Enough of the kids at home or on the iPad or on the there's this, I've never had one. I was talking to somebody on the way in. I said, what's that noise? Oh, it's just my kid on his game. What game? So apparently you got the headphones and you got the mouthpiece, and this tells you how bad I am, right? Never had PlayStation 4, never had, and I'm definitely not paying £400 to bring that in my house. It's not happening, yeah? But apparently it's a major industry, it's like movies. If their kid is sitting down and playing Fortnite or something, yeah, I'm gonna get you, yeah, I'm gonna get you, you think you can, and I'm like, wow, is that what happens in those games? So I live another life. Sit there, singing church hymns, singing Jim. I love you because you understand. That's me, quite nice. Caroline, how are you?
Oh, hello there.
Hello, Caroline, how are you?
All right. right. I'm well, thanks. How are
You
you?
sound really nervous, are you?
Do I? No, I was in another world, sorry.
Yeah, me, I live in another world, Caroline. I know. Now, look, we've been talking to people today, particularly about 100 days of lockdown, and many, the aspect of it that we've decided to focus on are those who perhaps can't move around quite so freely, get in and out and do what they want to do. Just trying to get into the whole kind of mindset of being at home, inside, considered vulnerable for all that time. Tell me a little bit about Caroline.
Well, I've got asthma, so I was supposed to be, I was told to shield. It was a bit of a mess up actually with the doctor, so I didn't immediately get a letter. I didn't actually get a letter for 2 months. But because I have got bad asthma and I've been hospitalised in the past, I just took it upon myself to shield and just to be really careful. So I didn't go to any shops for the whole of March, April and May. And the only place I went actually outside was my garden, or I went to some woods that are really near me that are very, there's nobody there apart from a couple of people occasionally walking their dogs. So so it was difficult because I was at home the whole time, and I have 2 really small kids, 2 and 3-year-old. So and also I work. I have a marketing company. So I was working, and my husband was also working. But I found it really, really hard to do all of that. Firstly, kind of juggling the kids and the work, but then also not be able to get a break. The only thing that I would do is occasionally go to the woods and take kind of like 40 minutes or an hour and just kind of walk and listen to the birds. And and I guess like a lot of people, I took that, I enjoyed nature and I enjoyed walking around, but mentally it was very, very hard.
Do you think, because we were talking about yesterday relative to children, and I just realised that my youngest hasn't slept a full night in 2 or 3 weeks now.
Yeah, that's the same as me.
Right,
yeah,
so we were talking about sometimes the conversations we have, radio programmes like this, and I don't think I do a heavy show, but clearly it is because we deal with some tough subjects, telly and newspapers even. Do you, I know it's not what you came on to talk about, just work with me a little bit. Do you think we've underestimated what the emotional impact of this is?
On children, do you think?
On all of us.
Yeah,
I mean, on all of us, I think.
Yeah, I think, definitely. And I think on children, like my 3-year-old, for instance, was amazingly, like really, really anxious about the whole she called it the bad bug, and she was so anxious about it. She wouldn't leave the house, barely would even go in the garden, and her sleep was all over the place. I mean, you say your child hasn't slept for 2 or 3 weeks. Like my 2 and 3-year-old barely slept through the night, the whole of lockdown. Do you
think it's a transference then, Caroline? Do you think it's anxiety transference?
I think so. It could well be because they overheard, us talking about it, and they would hear the radio, and the word coronavirus or this bug stuff was just kind of around all the time. And I think, they've got tiny brains, they're so small that they don't really understand it, but they could understand enough to know that this was something quite serious and a bit scary. So, yeah.
And if something is powerful enough to scare mummy and daddy and everybody else, then it must be huge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we would take